Hi, and welcome back to DMTV. The gun grab monster of the left has reared its ugly head again, this time with a twist, bringing to bear the mass media, the public school system, and the impressionable exuberance of youth to make another run at taking away our God-given right to arm and defend ourselves. The recent tragedy in Florida provides another opportunity to bully Congress into ignoring our constitutional right to keep and bear arms. With the famous mantra of the left wing, "Never let a good crisis go to waste," ringing in their ears, they ran to the microphone calling for more gun control laws. They employ the familiar shaming technique against all opponents and label the NRA a terrorist group. In other words, standard operating procedure. But when the bright light of truth shines upon them, their contrived self-righteousness is exposed in the bright light. The practical truth is that there will always be guns in America, and anyone who wants one will get one. No law can prevent this. We have laws. We have all kinds of laws. There are laws against stealing, but when you park your car, you lock it and take the keys. So the practical response to our gun violence is self-defense. So why are the schools left unprotected while we debate the issue? The rich and powerful among us are protected with guns. Banks are protected with guns. Freedom-hating billionaires like Michael Bloomberg and even the hypocritical politicians at the recent Washington rally were all protected with guns. But our children are protected with a sign that says, "Gun-free zone." The world is a dangerous place. This has always been true and always will be true until our Lord returns. After the horrific experiences we have had, not taking steps to protect our children in school borders on criminal. But on the Marxist left, all they can see is another opportunity to advance their agenda. Let's look at the facts surrounding the incident. The shooting in Florida did not have to happen. Present law, if applied properly, would have prevented the shooter from obtaining a gun. The shooter had numerous encounters with law enforcement, which gave them an opportunity to confiscate his gun. He was expelled from school for threats and violent behavior toward teachers and students. The FBI had been informed of his YouTube posting saying he wanted to be a professional school shooter. Finally, and most telling of why social engineering by government is dangerous, is something called the Promise Program. As you know, the law forbids sale of a firearm to anyone with a criminal record. The shooter should have had a criminal record and would have had one if not for the Promise Program. This is a federal grant started by the Obama administration, which provided grant funds to districts that look the other way when encountering certain criminal behavior on the part of students. The idea was to keep minority students out of jail on the premise that the criminal justice system is, wait for it, racist. If complaints had been filed with the police for numerous infractions on the part of the shooter, he never would have passed a background check. The law of unintended consequences is applied whenever the masterminds in government put one of their grand schemes into practice. Can you say Obamacare? So these are the facts surrounding this incident. There was no lack of adequate gun control law. There was yet another glaring example of the government failing the people. So knowing these facts, why do the Democrats and the mainstream media news, one and the same, continue to call for more gun control laws that impede the ability of law-abiding citizens to protect themselves? In 2016, there were 374 people killed by a rifle and 1,600 people killed by a knife. Why no call for knife control? The law never stopped anyone from doing anything. A law is not a preventative measure. A law simply defines an illegal act and sets the penalty for engaging in that act. The law cannot protect you, only you and God can do that. The ultimate goal with regard to gun control is to disarm the American people. Every so-called sensible gun law proposed Every fake assault weapon ban is designed to move the ball closer to the ultimate goal. Remember, Hitler and Stalin disarmed their political opponents before the slaughter. The Second Amendment was designed to give the people a way to defend themselves against the tyrannical government. And we should note that our government over the last 8 years has demonstrated a propensity toward lawlessness. The only thing that stands in the way of our leaders throwing off all restraint of law and seizing power is men and women of virtue in government who respect our Constitution, respect our laws, and love this country. That along with the threat of a massive pushback from an armed populace. When truth and justice are no longer revered in government, tyranny is sure to replace law. This is why we have the Second Amendment. James Madison, one of our founding fathers and co-author of the Constitution, proposed the Second Amendment because he feared that one day a powerful government might attempt to infringe upon the God-given, unalienable rights of the citizen. Now, if you believe as I do that there are those among us who would rule over us and deprive us of our rights and turn them into privileges, you should support the Second Amendment and reject any efforts to infringe upon it. See you next time.